The stock market is down 5% from its all-time high just last month in December of 2024. You've got some people who have already hit the panic button, and you absolutely got some people losing money. However, I've got two things that can help you save money and even make some money. So you want to put those two things in your back pocket, but also what in the world is going on and why is the stock market falling? Let's go ahead and break it down. We've got a lot of things to cover, so let's set the stage for what in the world is happening right now and what you may want to consider doing as an investor right now. As I mentioned, 2024, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching this channel, you know this. You made some money in 2024, and congratulations, right? The market was up, and we did hit several all-time highs. I actually forget what the exact number was, but again, we hit all-time high after all-time high multiple times through 2024, which is generally considered a good thing. However, that stopped, and now we are down 5% from that point. And this is one of those artificial barriers where people start to raise an eyebrow, because once you hit 10%, we call that a correction. Once you hit 20%, we call that a bear market. And that's like official crash territory. People start doing stuff. Doing stuff as in terms of like panicking and, flailing their arms. Okay. So 5% is like, all right, we halfway to a correction, and that's a sign. All right. So we halfway to that point. So why? Okay. So the first thing is this. There are, I want to say, a confluence of things. I don't think it's the word I'm supposed to be using. There are a bunch of things. The easiest word to use in this context. You've got a new administration and new Congress all about to hit the same time just next week. And the reason why that can be a concern for the stock market, you've got tariffs on the board, you've got brand new tax laws that could be on the board. Will those things get passed? How soon those things get passed? All speculation at this point in time. We're going to find out next week what the timeline may or may not be for those things, and that can absolutely have an impact on the stock market. So that's number one. Number two, I think this one is weighing more on the stock market, is the Fed has thrown out a signal on how aggressive they are going to be on adjusting interest rates, and that is the biggest thing here. We know that interest rates have an impact on the stock market. I've talked about this for years. We've done updates on this. Basically, when they move interest rates, the stock market does move. Expectations around that is what is hurting the stock market right now. I think that is weighing more than the inauguration in Congress and the government right now currently. That is because Wall Street expects more cuts than what the Fed has already announced or what they have hinted towards. The Fed, why doesn't the Fed want to cut rates as much as Wall Street wants? First off, Wall Street just wants more money, okay? The Fed doesn't want to put us into a recession. Those two things don't always mix. That's really what we're here for. If they expect 5 cuts and the Fed says, hey, we're only going to do 3, the stock market falls. It is what it is, all right? So that is a part of what is going on now. Regardless of what they expect and what the Fed is going to do, you might be losing money in the meantime. So what is going to help us right now? Here are the two things, really half of the two things, which isn't one, even though I know what the math is. Work with me on this. Watch. The first thing is this. Got 2 pages of notes here. Stat number 1. The stock market since 1980, according to Covenant Wealth Advisors, and I had to double check, I went to 2 different sources here, but Covenant Wealth Advisors did a study that went all the way back to 1980. The stock market falls about 5%, 5 times a year, 4.6 times a year to be exact, since 1980. So we're in 2025. It falls roughly 5% from its all-time high, going back to last year. It could do that roughly 4 more times this year. That's an average of 5 times. So what? We've been here before. This is actually normal, and most people actually clearly don't notice that. If you are panicking, you're looking at your account like, ooh, this looks bad. Should I do something different? At this point, the answer is no. For example, in 2020, the stock market dropped at least 5% 12 times during that year. Also, to refresh everyone's memory, in 2020, the stock market was up double digits. Now, you might be thinking, well, Kevin, that was an unprecedented time. It was the height of the pandemic. All types of crazy stuff did happen that year. You would be correct. I will cede that point to you. Let's go to last year. The stock market fell at least 5% twice that year, and you can't tell me when it happened, can you? You don't know, and frankly, you don't care, because the stock market in the end was up. So right now in 2025, whether it's going to be now or at any point in this year, it may continue to happen, or the stock market can bounce up. It's volatile. The stock market does not go in a straight line, is the primary point. So yeah, it could bounce up, it could bounce down. Who knows? At the end of the year, it may, I'm not guaranteeing you that it will, but it may end up being positive. Being knee-jerk reaction, oh my God, the stock market is down today and it seems severe, shouldn't really shake you. And in a video we did last week, I said, before I'd done the research, I said, did research, that January's just kind of start off a little rough. Turns out that there might have been something to that. So no, it's not the first time that the stock market's been down 5%. It's not the first time that it should this year do well, that it may recover. You may not even remember this particular experience. So that's the first thing. Put it in your back pocket and remember to relax. All right. The next one is this. Since 1980, to keep this exact time frame, consistent, go back and consider this. And be interactive here. You can shout at the screen. I'm not going to be able to hear you. So I would prefer for you to type in the comments unless you're watching this on a giant screen TV, which that's interesting. But because then you can't type in the comments, I assume. But here's the thing. How many times since 1980 do you think the stock market has been negative? Time's up. The answer is 10. That's it. Only 10 times to this point. We'll see what it's going to be at the end of 2025 and we can update this number. But that is it. Those years, 1981, 1990, 94, then you had the dot-com bust, so that's 2000, 2001, 2002, then 2008, that was bad. Then you had 2015, 2018, and then 2022. When I refer to the stock market, I'm talking about the S&P 500, largest 500 companies in the U.S. All of this means that if you bought the S&P 500 index fund and did nothing else, you would have made money every single year except for those 10 years. That's it. And every single year, on average, during those years, we're talking, all those trading days, 365 days a year, considering those leap years, blah, 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 blah. Y'all get the point, right? Excluding weekends, Martin Luther King Day, all that kind of stuff, right? So had you done that, even during those years, the stock market would have been down, right? 5%, at a minimum of 5% at some point during those years. And you still would have made money every one of those years, except for the ones I named. You would have been fine. You still might be fine this year. And even if you're not, history shows you're going to be all right. So, what should you do from this point forward? I've got 3 things. That's why that part was half. Those 2 things together are half. And now we got the second half, in case you was questioning my math earlier. So, quick break here. We do have a workshop where I go into even deeper detail and I give you an entire plan, including some stocks and areas you should consider if 2025 does not go well. We've got an entire plan. Here are the stocks. Here are the industries to look for. If you don't have investing apps, here are some apps to consider. Everything you need to know to invest for 2025. I give you an entire recipe for success. That link is right here. That course does close. That workshop does close this Friday. So definitely check it out. But here's what you want to consider. Number 1, don't do nothing. Okay, if you're already investing and you're investing in quality companies and good index funds, doing nothing is a solid strategy. This is technically what I do. I have invested and made my plans and did what I had to do in December. I told y'all about it. Did a whole video about what I bought, what I sold, all that stuff, and I'm not going to open or even consider looking at my portfolio until June of 2025. I do this every year You can, I should make an entire playlist, but you can search through the channel and you will see me doing exactly that. That actually saved me during the pandemic, because in March, when the stock market fell 30% or whatever it did, I didn't have to look at my portfolio because it wasn't my time, right? It just wasn't my time to do so. And by the time I did in June, the market had started to recover. I looked, did my research, and said, looks like the market is starting to come back. I'm going to leave it alone. And guess who made money that year? Me. And we've got results and screenshots to prove that. That is why I continue to leave things alone. So you might want to continue to leave things alone. Again, we're very early in the year anyway, so we don't know where the market is going to go. Monday I think is Martin Luther King Day perhaps. So Tuesday, I could be wrong on that date, but I'm pretty sure it is. But Tuesday, the market could pop, and all of this could be a distant memory for all we know, right? So it's very early. Like, don't overreact by doing that. Number two, this could be considered a discount. All of those great quality stocks that you loved just a few weeks ago that you thought were too expensive, now could be your opportunity. We did an entire video that y'all absolutely loved about stocks that were under $150 or at $150 per share. You can check out that video here. Maybe this is a good opportunity to go back and say, hey, maybe it's back under $150 a share, and it might be an opportunity to come back and get those stocks. So that video is about a month old, if I'm not mistaken, so go back and update your research. But if that price is right, this could be an opportunity to go back and pick up a good stock for an even better price. Companies like Nvidia that people love, companies like Palantir, I know came down for a discount. If you like those companies, this could be that discount opportunity. We know, whether it's the pandemic or even 2022, when I bought Nvidia for a steep discount, this could be your opportunity. If you truly believe in Bitcoin, I told y'all that first off, I told y'all that once it hit 100,000, it's probably going to drop. Told y'all that. And I also told y'all that if you were looking to buy it when it dips, because it starts to dip every 1.5 to 2 years. This might be the opportunity if you truly believe in it, but you don't have to, okay? This might be that time, okay? We'll see if this lasts, how deep this is going to be. We do not know. And because we don't know, buying on a schedule, which is called dollar cost averaging, could be that easy way to do that. And then the last one is to reevaluate and research. If you have something that is absolutely falling off the map, which can happen, go back and do your research and truly take a look at what you are investing in and say, look, is this what I thought it was? Is this truly a good investment for me? Yes or no? Or did I misevaluate something? Or has the table completely shifted? Has the market shifted and this is no longer a great investment like I thought it was? For example, and I'm just thinking of investments now. Let's go to, because I think this is one we can all understand. Let's think of Peloton, right? Peloton was a great investment. Let me not say great investment. It was a great stock. I'm putting in air quotes because the company wasn't profitable back then, and I'm not sure if it is now. But back then, people were at home exercising. In that market, in that environment, it was something that made sense to invest in. Today, not necessarily. People are outside, people are going to the gym, so it might not make sense. That lesson could be, there may be something in your portfolio that made sense in 2024, or you've been holding for a very long time that may not make sense anymore. I don't know what you own. I don't know what you're currently holding, so you may need to go back and just see, hey, I've made enough money on this thing, it's not really making sense for me anymore. I did an entire video of things for me that I made money on. I said, I'm not sure how things are going to go. I'm going to go ahead and take my money, I've made some, and just get up off of this stock, because I just don't think it's a good fit based on what I think is going to happen and based on just where I think my portfolio is going to go. So take a look and just reevaluate. We're early in the year. The board is not set. This could be an opportunity for you to go back and reevaluate. So take those 3 steps and use them, right? You have some options and opportunities. Guess what was not on the list? Panicking, acting a fool. None of those were on the list, and they're not going to be on the list. There is a playbook for you to win regardless of what is going on. You ain't got to act a fool. Okay, we've been doing this long enough. You are going to be okay. If you want more tips on how you can be a better investor right now, you want to check out these videos right here.